Welcome to my channel Notes Explained, and here is the second part of the chapter Indian Democracy from Political Science SEBA Board. Now let's do a quick revision of what we have done in the first part. Firstly, we learned that India gained independence on 15th August 1947, after which the Labour Party, which won after election in England, they thought of sending a cabinet mission to India. Then the third, preparation for new constitution. Many preparations were made for a new constitution in India. Constituent assembly were formed where many members were included. A draft was made and it was sent to the president. Finally, the president agreed and a new constitution was formed in India. In the constitution, the introduction part is the preamble, where we have found many significant words like sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. And lastly, we have also learned about the objective resolution that were given by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. In this part, we will be learning about federalism. Federation, it is an English word and it is derived from the Latin word feudus, which means agreement or treaty. Federal state is a union of states, united through mutual agreement or treaty. So here we can understand that all the federal states are union of states, or they are a collection of states where they are united or where they are bounded together by an agreement or treaty. The system has different varieties in different countries. So yes, different countries, they have their own rules and regulations regarding federalism. USA. It was first introduced in the United States of America and is regarded as the homeland of federation. So you have to remember this point, that USA was the first country where federalism was started, and it is regarded as the homeland of federation. USA has two constitutions, one for the nation and the other for the constituent states. So, like India has only one constitution and it is meant for everyone, for the nation and for the states as well. But USA has two constitutions, one will be for the whole nation and the other only for the states. Here, the citizens enjoy dual citizenship due to federation. One is the national citizenship and the second is the state citizenship. India. Before independence, India was ruled by the British government according to the provisions of the Government of India Act 1935. So, we all know that Indians were totally dominated and tortured by the Britons long time back. So, the provisions of the Government of India Act 1935 were used in order to rule India. Here, the federal system was introduced where the power was divided between the center and the state. So, the Britons had already started the system long time back, where the power was divided between the center and the state. The makers of the Indian Constitution followed the Constitution of Canada, which has a loose federation. Many ideas had been taken from different countries in order to make the Indian Constitution. So, in terms of federation, the Constituent Assembly had chosen Canada because it has a loose federation. It did not follow the USA Constitution in terms of federalism because in USA they have dual citizenship, where the people enjoyed dual citizenship, one for the nation and the other for the states. So, the makers of the Indian Constitution did not want India to be divided in that way or to have dual citizenship. They rather thought it to have a single citizenship where they will be united in one country, having the loose federation like Canada. National integrity would be affected in India. Thus, they didn't adopt dual citizenship and adopted single citizenship. Yes, as told earlier, they did not adopt USA's federation system because it adopted dual citizenship. Rather, it followed Canada's federalism because it adopted only single citizenship. India is declared a union of states in the article number 1 of the Indian Constitution. Yes, that's why, since it enjoys single citizenship, that's why it is mentioned in the first article of the Constitution that India is a union of states. Indian states cannot enjoy separate power from the union as USA enjoys. So again the same thing is repeated. Like in USA, the people of the states enjoy different power and the whole nation enjoys different power. But in India, they do not enjoy separate powers. India has been guided by the center and it has to follow the rules and regulations, enjoying only single citizenship. Our constitution is not called a federation but a quasi federation, peculiar federation, centralized federation, and federal in form but unitary in spirit. Yes, our constitution is called a quasi federation because it is not a full-fledged one like USA. It is a little bit different from USA since it followed Canada, and that's why it is also known as federal in form. That means federalism where the power is divided between the center and the state, but unitary in spirit. Yes, we are united to the country, united by our spirit. We have one constitution where the center enjoys more power than the constituent states. So, though the power is divided between the center and the state, yet the center enjoys more power than the states. And we have only one constitution and enjoy single citizenship. So now, what are the demands? Demands are raised to give the states freedom of power by constitutional amendments. So now, since the power is enjoyed more by the center, now the states are wanting freedom of power so that they can also enjoy some power, and they wanted or they are demanding some constitutional amendments where some power would be given to the states. Sarkaria Commission was set up in 1983 to resolve such conflicts. So what conflicts have we read about? It is about the conflicts of the center and the state's power. Indian federal system is mainly dependent on the center-state relationship. So we all know that India follows a federal state system. So the relationship between the center and the state should be mutual. They should cooperate well in order to run the country in a proper direction. And political analysts referred it as cooperative federalism. Parliamentary democracy in India. It is such an administrative system whereby the highest administrative powers are vested in a body which is constituted with the people's representatives. So we all know that democracy is of the people, by the people, and for the people. So the representatives who stand for election, they are elected by the people and they also work for the people. So this type of democracy, it is an administrative system where the people are elected by the people's representatives. Such body is known as Congress in USA and Parliament in India and England. Indian Parliament has two houses. Number 1, Rajya Sabha, or it is also known as Council of States, and number 2 is Lok Sabha, which is also called the House of the People. Parliamentary form of government and Indian constitution had been followed from England, though not written blindly. So yes, they had followed the system from England, but it was not written blindly. Some points or some articles were modified by the Indians. Due importance was given to political, social and environmental conditions of India. So the constitution not only followed or not only concentrated on one field of the country, rather it looked upon all the divergent conditions or the divergent fields that we have, like the political field, the social field, environmental field, etc. And some ideas were Indianized, as said before. Differences between India and England's form of government. Parliamentary form of government makes India a republic, while this form does not make England a republic. It is so because though India had followed the parliamentary form of government from England, yet it was Indianized by modification. That's why this form of government makes India a republic, while this form does not make England a republic. The former's head is not a hereditary one, while the latter's head is a hereditary one, since it has a king or a queen. So, India's head is not a hereditary one because the people are elected here. The president or the prime minister are elected. Not even a single person is succeeding their fathers or their grandfathers, or we can also say their ancestors. But in England, the sons or the daughters, they succeed their parents' place and become kings or queen. The former has two houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, while the latter also has two houses but named differently, the upper house and the lower house. Parliament is not so important in the former, while it is the most powerful in the latter. Whenever a decision is taken in India, it depends on the majority of vote. So, in both the houses, if the majority of vote is passed, it is further passed to the president, and when he agrees, the decision is passed on to the country, but whenever he disagrees, it remains cancelled. So, the parliament is not so important, while in the latter, it is the most powerful, because once a decision is taken, it is taken and passed on to the citizens of England. Indian Constitution has created the parliamentary democracy, making suitable to Indian situation, which has been able to present India as a distinguished parliamentary democratic country in front of the world. Just because Indian Constitution was borrowed from many countries, yet some of the ideas were modified in India, for which it has its own distinguished parliamentary democratic country in front of the world. So here comes the end of the chapter. If you really like the chapter, give a thumbs up, comment, share and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon present below so that you get the updates regularly.